What's going on, everybody? LK here, back at it again with another video, and today some more Dragon Ball FighterZ for y'all. So earlier this week we got a new patch and a new character, so I wanted to discuss what I think the theme of this patch is, like what the main thing they're trying to go for, and also what characters I think are the biggest winners and the biggest losers of the patch. If you like the content I'm putting out, consider liking this video or subscribing to the channel if you already have not. It does help the channel grow and I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. So one thing about this patch that I really liked, especially because it's like a mid-year patch instead of a big whole year season patch, is that there are not really that many nerfs in this patch. Most of the characters either just got nothing or they got like small little buffs. Now that people have had a couple of days to look over the characters, I kind of have a better idea of who I think is better, who I think got impacted by this patch a lot. Now, very clearly, the theme of this patch is they want you to pick things that you might not have picked before. You can see this really clearly in the assists, and this is what they talked about originally as well. So here I have SSJ Goku, Cell, and Frieza. All three of them have pretty good A assists. In the case of Cell, his A, of course, is this Kamehameha. Frieza has the Death Slash. And of course, we're all very familiar with SSJ Goku's horizontal Kamehameha assist. So one thing that ended up happening in Season 3 is that they gave more characters beams. So characters like Krillin, Yamcha, and Trunks all have a beam assist as their B assist. And then even characters like Gotenks, Space Goku, and Adult Gohan have beam assist as their C assist. On top of that, they slightly nerfed SSJ Goku as well. So then, as opposed to Season 2, when you're like, oh, I need a horizontal beam, my only options are Goku Black or SSJ Goku, now you have not only multiple B assist beams and C assist beams, but then you still have the beam like assist like Broly, 21, etc. So it becomes very hard to justify playing SSJ Goku for most people. Now though, they buffed his B assist so that it's 20 frames and it has a ton of block stun. 20 frames means you're basically not seeing him appear, he just does the kick. It has a lot of block stun, so it will give characters mix-up opportunities. This is a pretty clear theme across the cast too. So there are cases of characters like, say, Trunks, who have 3 really solid assists, right? Change the Future, Masenko, and his Shining Slash C assist, right? But there are other characters where one assist really stands out and it's hard to pick the other assists. Most of the time, they just buff the speed of the assist. Cell is another example of this. So now this is also 20 frames, so essentially like unseeable speed, right? He still does have his really good and unique A assist. That 45-degree angle is pretty rare for a projectile, but if you need that horizontal control for some reason, then you have that as an option, and it's a fast, strong option. Now, there is a certain type of change that I feel like is kind of a nerf, and it's about how some assists now appear. So I think Frieza has an example of this. Do you see how far ahead he appears of my character now? So one of the strengths of assists have always been where they appear in relation to your character. So for instance, since we were just talking about Cell, the fact that he appears up and behind you like that and covering that angle, that's one of the reasons why it's really strong. An assist that appears in front of you is more vulnerable. This is the weakness of some of the tracking assists that were really popular before this patch, like Bardock B. Now, a few characters got this appear in front of you change, and I'm not that fond of it, but we have to see how it plays out over time. So first, let's start with the bad news. These 3 characters are the characters I think basically are the losers of this patch. Goku Black, Zamasu, and Frieza. And in Goku Black and Frieza's case, they didn't really do anything to the characters. They just changed assists. Similarly to what I said before, they changed Goku Black's B and C assists. Again, the common theme is that it's faster now. It does have a good amount of block stun, but I think also most people really think that he probably needs a couple of other changes, and the fact they only changed his assists probably disappointed some people. So Frieza also has this in a couple of ways. As I just mentioned, his C assist now appears kind of far in front of you, which again, to me, I think is a disadvantage overall. And similarly, his B assist, like, I just don't really see a use, like especially good use for this assist. His A assist still is really the standout assist for him. And finally, Zamasu, they just gave him no changes at all. And I believe for sure that most people, while I joke about Zamasu being like a really bad character or something, I don't think the character is bad. I just think the character has like good points and bad points. And I think like most people at least wanted his Ki Blast to hit crouchers, which would have been a really small, easy change to add. So the main thing about these three characters is that they didn't really do anything to the characters at all, and people were already not really that encouraged to play these three. There's been a lot of mixed opinions about Frieza's strength overall in the game since the game came out. Goku Black was only popular right when the game came out, and Zamasu was popular for a little while, and there's always like Zamasu hype, but even though people like hype him up a lot, they don't really like run him at a competitive level, or they try to compete with him, especially in season 2. Season 3, of course, we have no offline events, so we can't use that as a reason, but he didn't really make that huge of a showing in the game at all. Now, these 6 characters I think are the biggest winners of the patch. The one thing that all these characters have in common is that they were really, really, really unpopular before this, and they all had definite clear flaws. So starting with Jiren, he got a lot of tools sped up. His 2L is sped up. His command grab is also sped up at 26, down from 28. They also buffed his Ki Blast so that it beats Ki Blast. And they changed how his counters work. So if you know before, his counters, the 2-1-4 series, used to just lose to Ki Blast. Now he'll stay active. So you won't activate anymore, but he's not going to get hit right away. You can create kind of a confusing situation from that. The other big counter buff is to his 2-4S. So previously, this was a projectile counter only. Now it counters basically everything except for supers. So now he has like a frame 4 reversal he could just use. It's quite a strong tool. Characters can OS it still, but you kind of have to go through by character. Videl got a bunch of combo changes to basically bring her from like one of the lowest damage characters to one of the highest. This move has more hit stun now, so she has a lot more and seemingly easier loops. People are posting a lot of stuff on Twitter. They also buffed some of her starters so that they do more damage, and they changed something that I thought was a really huge problem when they came out. They sped up this move, her 2M. So before, her 2M used to be 16 frames. So one rule about this game, again, everything is homogeneous for the most part, is that mediums and heavies both have the same block stun. Generally, they have 15 frame block stun. So this move being 16 frames meant that you could not jail into it at all, and the opponent could match reflect, do a reversal, whatever. Now at 12 frames, it does not jail if you do a jab into it, but as long as you do any medium block stun move, you should be able to do an airtight string into her 2M. They did buff her dodge so she could do stuff faster after, but it doesn't feel that different personally. I don't main her though. Maybe Videl mains feel good about it, but when I was messing around with it, I was like, this feels the same. Gogeta got a bunch of good stuff like his B assist working. So now this always reaches. Before, the assist would randomly whiff or only one hit would connect. It was very, very, very inconsistent. Now it's very, very consistent, and as long as you time it right, all the hits should connect, which is a really, really big buff that he needed. His A assist now travels full screen as well. Before, it would end probably around like here from full screen. Now it'll connect full screen. And on top of that, he got many needed frame data buffs. So this is now safe, and this is now safe. This move is faster, which is really big, to the point too that combined with the buff to his Rekka, which travels full screen now, if he tags you with this, he can get in from full screen and it jills. It's a really, really strong buff. On top of that too, he now has Kami Spiral Arrow in his new 2M, which travels much faster than before and much further. Blue Vegeta, when I read his changes, I was kind of worried about them because I am not a fan of being able to do stuff on whiff like that. You might be like, why are you cool with auto combo whiff? And for the most part, you know, look at the frame data. You're minus 51. You could do something about that as long as you're not next to them. But I'm not a fan of tools of like you whipping stuff into stuff in general. But the Blue Vegeta change, I think, is really, really interesting. And this is the one I'm going to talk about the most because a lot of his other stuff mostly is for combos. So now when you do these Ki Blasts, even if you whiff them, you could special cancel them into either Big Bang Attack or Supers. I think it's a really, really interesting change, and more importantly than anything else, it gives him a little bit more identity compared to the other Vegetas. Like base Vegeta is fast, you know, he has the fast Ki Blast and he gets in on you, he can teleport and stuff. And SSJ Vegeta, you know, he's the slow one, he controls the screen, he has a DP. But Blue Vegeta always felt like half of other characters, and I think this, because he's basically the only character that has a tool like this, really makes him stand out. It gives him a really unique style of neutral control here where you can do things like this. And if they try to super dash at you, the Big Bang Attack will hit you. So he gets to control space in a really unique way compared to other characters in the game. And I think is a good and meaningful buff. So Tian got a bunch of pretty good buffs too. The main one people are talking about is how you can use momentum with Dodon Ray. They compare it to Doom from Marvel vs. Capcom 3. It's a very good change. He also got some changes to how he does damage to himself. So for instance, so here we have him using meter. Now we'll have him use all his meter. Now we'll put him in sparking. And finally, we'll put him alone. And finally, we'll have him alone. So there are a couple of other different health values there, but for the most part, he just does not use as much life to do extra damage as he used to, which makes him a much more valuable anchor than before. On top of that, he got a well-needed buff to his beat assist, which is faster, which means the tracking actually works. Before, the tracking was really, really wonky. Now it's quite consistent. So 16 also got a bunch of combo changes that he kind of needed, as did all these characters, to be honest. But one of the biggest changes that he got to was his beat assist. So now, while this had a good 45-degree angle before, now he fires both the air and ground shot. So this is a really unique assist in the game now. The only other character I could think of that has an assist similar to this is Piccolo A, where he fires both the slow and fast orb. Again, this means that you don't have to pick Piccolo just to do that, which is one good thing, but it also means you get unique styles of pressure, unique combos. Basically, it's like a 2-for-1 assist. And let's not forget the absolute biggest winner of this patch, Kibu, because he didn't get nerfed, he didn't get changed. The devs are like, we're cool with him. Again, they're telling us, hey, maybe you should pick him, maybe you should play him, maybe he'll solve all your problems. So here he is, unchanged, just like we all wanted. Okay, hopefully that all made sense. It is, of course, quite early in this patch, so these are all just general initial thoughts. We'll see how these characters and the changes to the assists play out as time goes on. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.